Beyond pyramids and pharaohs, how did ordinary ancient Egyptians find joy? Imagine the sun, a relentless eye in the cloudless sky, beating down on the dusty banks of the Nile. For the average Egyptian family, life was often a cycle of hard work, tilling fields, hauling water, weaving flax. Days were long, filled with the practicalities of survival. But when the heat began to wane and a cool evening breeze finally swept through their mud brick homes, another human need emerged. A need for laughter, for connection, for simple, uncomplicated fun. Without the glowing screens or elaborate spectacles we know today, how did families unwind? What games did they play? What stories did they tell? It's a fascinating question, revealing a vibrant, intimate side of ancient Egypt often overlooked. We tend to focus on the grand monuments, but the true spirit of a civilization often lies in the quiet moments shared between a parent and a child, a husband and a wife, after the day's labor was done. One of the most iconic, and perhaps universally recognized, ancient Egyptian games was Senet. More than just a game, it was a journey, a reflection of life itself. Imagine a simple wooden board, often beautifully carved, with 30 squares arranged in 3 rows of 10. 2 players, each with a set of pawns, would sit facing each other, ready to begin their strategic passage. The rules, while not perfectly preserved, suggest a mix of luck and strategy, much like backgammon or checkers. Players would throw casting sticks, not dice, to determine their moves across the board. The goal was to be the first to move all your pieces off the board, navigating treacherous squares that could send you backward, and beneficial ones that offered safe passage. But Senet held a profound spiritual significance. Many of the squares were decorated with hieroglyphs representing good or bad fortune in the afterlife. Playing Senet wasn't just a pastime, it was a symbolic journey through the Duat, the underworld, toward resurrection. Imagine a family gathered around their board, the flickering lamplight casting long shadows, discussing not just the next move, but perhaps the very nature of their existence. It was a game for everyone, from pharaohs to commoners. Evidence of Senet boards has been found in royal tombs and humble homes alike. A medium shot, a subtle tracking movement, follows an older man in loose, earth-toned robes, watching his grandchild intently, guiding their small fingers as they move a carved piece. This shared experience bridged generations, passing down cultural and spiritual understanding through play. Beyond Senet, other board games provided diversion. Man, often called the snake game, featured a circular board coiled like a serpent, with divisions along its body. Players used lion and lioness pieces, along with marbles, racing to be the first to reach the snake's head. It's another example of how simple materials could create engaging, complex entertainment. Then there was Hounds and Jackals, a game with a peg and hole design resembling some modern board games. These were just for adults. Children, too, learned these games, developing critical thinking and patience, all while enjoying precious moments with their families. These ancient games weren't just about winning. They were about shared time, about the rhythm of interaction. And what about the youngest Egyptians? Their world of play might feel surprisingly familiar. Children had dolls, crafted from wood, clay, or even bone, often with simple painted features and hair made of beads or clay. Some dolls had movable limbs, allowing for imaginative storytelling and role play, just like today. They also played with toy animals, miniature versions of the creatures they saw every day: hippos, crocodiles, and cats. These weren't just static figures. Some were mounted on wheels, ready to be pulled along the dusty floors of their homes, sparking hours of imaginative adventure. Imagine the excited squeals as a child dragged their little clay hippo. Outdoor play was just as important. Children chased each other in games of tag, wrestled playfully in the sand, or jumped and tumbled, testing their strength and agility. The Nile itself was a boundless playground. Swimming in its cool waters, especially during the hot summer months, wasn't just a necessity for hygiene. It was a cherished recreational activity. Imagine a sound, the joyful splashes of children in the Nile, a constant, low thrum, just at the edge of hearing, mixed with the distant calls of vendors in a dusty marketplace. But only *U* can hear it. This simple, free entertainment connected them to their environment, fostering a deep appreciation for the life-giving river. Music also played a significant role in ancient Egyptian family life. While grand orchestras might have performed in temples, simple instruments provided entertainment at home. Harps, lutes, flutes, and hand drums would fill the air with melodies, often accompanied by singing. It wasn't always formal, sometimes it was spontaneous, a simple expression of joy after a long day. Picture a mother humming a lullaby to her child, or a father playing a simple tune on a reed flute as the family ate their evening meal. Music wasn't just for performance, it was integral to the rhythm of domestic life, setting moods, celebrating small victories, and soothing tired souls. It helped weave the tapestry of that daily existence. Dance, too, was a natural extension of music. While professional dancers performed at feasts and rituals, families themselves would surely have engaged in simple, informal dances, perhaps a joyful jig to celebrate a good harvest, or a slow, swaying movement during a storytelling session. Movement, rhythm, and shared emotion created a powerful, communal experience. Storytelling was another cornerstone of ancient Egyptian entertainment, connecting generations through shared narratives. Around a small fire, or under the vast, star-studded sky, elders would recount myths of gods and goddesses, tales of brave heroes, or cautionary fables. These weren't just stories. They were lessons, warnings, and moral compasses for life. They would also share family histories, recounting the deeds of ancestors, reinforcing identity and belonging. Imagine a child, why died, hearing about their great-grandmother's wisdom or their great-grandfather's bravery. These oral traditions ensured that wisdom and heritage were passed down, strong and vibrant, from one generation to the next. Even simple meals could become a form of entertainment. A well-prepared dish, shared with loved ones, was a celebration in itself. The preparation, the gathering, the conversation, all contributed to a sense of contentment and well-being. Food wasn't just sustenance, it was an act of love, a reason for coming together. And sometimes, the greatest pleasure was simply quiet contemplation. As their gaze meets the eyes of a passing in traditional woven garments, rich with cultural patterns, we see a moment of shared humanity. Sitting by the Nile, watching the boats glide by, or simply observing the stars emerge in the desert sky. These quiet moments offered a profound sense of peace and connection to the vastness of the universe. These seemingly small, simple pleasures were trivial. They were the threads that held families together, fostering resilience, joy, and a deep sense of community in a world that demanded so much from its people. They remind us that human beings across millennia have always sought meaning and happiness in connection and creation, not just consumption. The echoes of these ancient pastimes still resonate today. We still gather around tables for board games, tell stories to our children, and find solace in music and dance. The tools may have changed, but the fundamental human need for play, for shared laughter, and for moments of quiet joy remains an unbreakable constant. So, the next time you picture ancient Egypt, try to look beyond the monumental. Imagine the soft glow of an oil lamp, the quiet focus on a Senate board, the joyous splash of children in the Nile. These were the true foundations of their daily lives, the simple pleasures that made their world, despite its hardships, rich and deeply human. If you ever wondered how ancient Roman families enjoyed their evenings, you'll want to uncover their forgotten past in our next episode.